No, there's no sandy that. Watching that sound back. That's it, oh, there you go, and the flash. What's in the square over here? I go through that. And wolves. What coffee?
your right. Jersey City has the most modern infrastructure. That's very attractive, residentially and corporately. Hotel and retail love it too. Now the most expensive apartments to buy or lease in the U.S. are to your right. New York to your left, number 2. Now you have old industrial property down here. Taylor Swift bought one of these units here in an old warehouse. The old industrial properties have high ceilings. They sell or lease residentially to the wealthy for big bucks, and for her, great acoustics. You do know, we don't. That's why the Twin Towers were built. By the numbers, 2 times 4 is 8. To your left, there are 8 triangular walls on the new One World Trade. That's 1 triangle for each side of the Twin Towers. When you see the center triangular wall as an arrow pointing straight up, oh look, they're washing windows. Means it's gonna rain. When the center wall points straight up to the spire, you'll see the walls are parallel. But every floor has the same square area space to lease. The tower is a larger-than-life abstract sculpture of the Statue of Liberty. Its pedestal is the same height. The spire represents a raised right arm and torch. Now there are 7 rays of light on our halo. Count the torch rims on the spire. From base to tip, a smaller diameter, but there are 7. The tip is sculpted aluminum flame, representing all her raised right arm and torch. From the ground to the tip of the flame, it's 76 feet tall. Time and your perspective change. The wall is an arrow pointing straight down. The bottom of the tower looks wider than the top, but it isn't. It's an optical illusion that represents her in an abstract art way. When you take away that spire, what remains of the tower was their average height. The empty sky to the right of it is where they stood 23 years ago this moment. And just like that September day, not a cloud in the sky. A single life lost is an irreplaceable treasure. The true cost of the day is incalculable and still rising. Long ago, we lost more than first responders since the day that perished on that day. From all departments. More than 11,000 New Yorkers deal with some form of a medical ticking time bomb. 400,000 New Yorkers estimated exposed. The cost still rises and will for decades in this area. To your right, the tallest buildings in New Jersey. Beige and glass, 99 Hudson. Luxury condos sell for over $1 million. But you're worth it. Silver glass corporate built for Goldman Sachs. You see the Colgate clock just above the river to your right. And the Irish Ring Salt Factory for Colgate Palmolive, they redeveloped. Now don't you get it, Boyle? An abandoned soap factory in Jersey City is cheaper to develop than New York. Tax rates cheaper, vacant space you can custom build. Review. Manhattan Island, space is limited, expensive, frequently infrastructure, Egypt. Without tax rates, where's your incentive to stay? Since World War II, industry's been forced from both cities. Quoting economic analyst Bruce Springsteen, these jobs are going, boys, and they ain't coming back to your hometown. There's nothing left from each city but the same white-collar corporate tax base for fiscal survival. 8 minutes, trainer before, family in tow, find your way to the right one. Kansas City. Any ethnic group in the Western Hemisphere, or the world's major religions, all of our nation's veterans back to our revolution. On the Monument of Connection in or near Battery Park, Bowling Green. Get out of Midtown, come downtown. Explore the city's roots, discover your own. Ellis Island comes up on the right. Samuel Ellis, a London-born butcher, came to the colony. Life good, business better. Daughter married a British officer. Buys the family a 3-acre picnic garden. In 1775, come the revolution, back family or independence. He wants independence. Could you war against your son-in-law breaking your daughter's heart? He sides with family. Not popular after, goes back to England. Granddaughter sold the island to the new U.S. government. New York's 4, 5, and 6 subway are eldest. Where did that dirt debris go? Ellis Island is more than 9 times bigger. We see version 3, 27.5 acres. This facility was built to process 5,000 a day. Steamboat replaced sailboat. You can't run 5G without a motor. By 1909, more than 10,000 daily, your ship might wait 3 days for your turn. Would you pass? Would your baby? Elderly relative. More than 98% got in. What if your family was split forever? Coin. That's why we only mint replacements. You would need more than 32 million pennies just to have enough copper. And more than $74 million to duplicate her. Bon chance. Have you seen the light? In her right hand, a torch. That's copper, like the rest of her, 2 pennies thick. But hammered by hands of these shapes over negative wood molds. On the flame, it's covered in 24-karat gold leaf. That is gold thinner than a sheet of newspaper. It reflects sunlight or spotlights. Smart enough to bring a torch, you're enlightened. Not that I was a member of the National Honor Society. That Declaration of Independence, the keystone of our free society. But for women, for African Americans, we defaulted on the document's promises. Democracy, nothing but a dream to purge. Notice her right leg's behind her left. She's walking free in the broken chains of slavery at her feet. The hope was when our nation ended slavery would light the way for the world to follow. Civil War ends. President Lincoln was fatally shot at Ford's Theater and dies within the same 24 hours. What if Lincoln had lived? Wouldn't be so popular. Civil War ends. Both sides cancel contracts. The national unemployment rate soars over 20%. Right now, it's about near a record low 3.4%. Imagine being president giving a State of the Union. But Edward Everett wrote a letter, Mr. Lincoln, I should flatter myself that in 2.5 hours, I came close to saying what you said in 2.5 hours. The speech is not so clear. Do I get out of my pocket? In that speech, Lincoln called the Constitution a powerful measure of the Guard shaped force very much on the absolute. For honor, all nominees are to have good. This country is back period. In the War of 1812, before Lincoln's speech, 5 years ago, he wanted to secure your no one more as the Nixon. I wear a size 11 sneaker, and if I put 1 foot through the toes for my other, that's smaller than a Shaquille O'Neal sneaker. Size 23. When an island of ice bigger than man, work to your left is the one featured in the films Working Girls, Crown Affair, and School Truck. Behind the heliport in the trees, flags mark the New York City Vietnam veterans. 55 Water Street Street. You're right. Old piers were great, became arenas of parks, the warehouses became condominiums, making the wealthy folks of Brooklyn Heights the Buckeye Highway wealthier. Marching in old lace, the Patty Duke Show, the Cosmic Show, and Moonstruck. Through decades, with one common theme, and the heart is a family who has lots of love. No bridges across the river if you move to Brooklyn, then a different city by boat. And on your left, speaking of money, the blue and white ferry, the Wide Street Pass, known as Wall Street. Trinity Church at the end, featured a national treasure here at the wall. Hamilton and Eliza of preparing right up against the Wall Street Sun fence in New Jersey. Where the flags stick out in Federal Hall and then the Jersey. April 1st, 1789, our Congress met on Federal Hall location, first time as a nation, and out front on the steps where you find a statue, General Washington 50th was our first president. Imagine the birthday of sailors leave the building. Called the top film on the mid-mast of skyscraper. It's not. Setting up the concert stage on the roof of Pier 17 in the summer time. Lines hold ships to a dock, so this German immigrant, John Roebling, pondered, gee, if I could wrap steel like a ship's lines, what could I build with this? The Brooklyn Bridge above you now. More than twice as long as another bridge built before it. The steel cable makes the bridge possible, the steel cable makes the elevator possible, the elevator makes the skyscraper possible. Get it? It's the bridge that changed the world. It's like holding the first microchip in your hand. It's your phone going from 5G to 10G overnight. It's a pretty rough looking tool. Jewel in the heart. Grew, industry grew, immigration grew. And the river was struck. There is so much landfill on both sides right here. The river's only half the width it was. That much landfill on both sides. This is the Manhattan Bridge. To your left, the Red Brick Tower, standing alone as Confucius Plaza and Shining Street. Bridge spills out on Canal Street. Your informal border between Chinatown and Little Italy.
Oh, hi, you take a picture?
Is the BET and Oregon subway. It started illegally when I arrived in Brooklyn in '85 for graduate school. Artists began to take abandoned industrial and make it working art studio residential. Rich people made that legal. Property values soared exponential, driving out the artists that had made it desirable. Today, 20% of New York software and high tech is done by Brooklyn. Now break it down. First in it's mostly luxury. You gotta win the building's lottery for one of the middle income units, and retail and a little corporate, if you will, and in allies. On your right, the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Remember the Monitor? Remember the Maine, the Arizona, sunk at Pearl Harbor, the battleships Iowa, North Carolina, the mighty Missouri, all built here. Once 60,000 people, 60% of them women, were building ships 24/7. Cement and construction mostly, the garment industry, pasta manufacturing, microbreweries. Steiner Studios for film and TV production. Again, blink and the city changed. The U.S. Navy left here officially in 1986. Reinvested, reinvented. The Brooklyn Navy Yard goes strong in totally new directions. Oh, I should mention the three. The Williamsburg Bridge is next. Many a woman has told me looks aren't everything. Oh, it's not pretty. Way more bracing than needed, engineering-wise redundant. Good. Late 1970s, New York City's on the brink of bankruptcy. By the early 80s, the ugly Duckling Bridge is gorgeous. All the money to fix this one went elsewhere for 45 decades. Time to pay the price of it. $158 million legal housing. That's the JMRZ subway train number, isn't it?
Smooth. Oh, I guess. Huh?
To your right, the Domino Sugar Plant is being redone. Go right of the logo. That little gray apartment building, 329 Kent Street, or 325 Kent Street, sorry. Its architecture is based on what a molecule of sugar looks like under a microscope. The Red Brick Refinery, they redid corporately. It's a shell of itself. The glass going inside is corporate. Under the dome, greenery, park fountains, recreationally, tacos are tasty. I'm getting hungry. Hey, are you in the mood for something sweet? Intermission time. Get up, stretch your legs, stretch your back, folks. This is a cafe or restaurant downstairs. CN10 at the UN, United Nations short. One Vice Bank, we're up by 96, and let it go to the receiver that lies to ascend soul. Beyond that, one Vanderbilt is taller than one World Trade minus the spot. The United Nations is on the water to our left. Find the white telecom dish. Left of the dish, the event room is above the highway. Behind the event room, a little taller, is the UN's library. Behind the dish, the 39-story office tower, the Secretariat. Now your nation's offices look east or west. No VIP gets a corner office because there is none. The north-south walls are marble panels, no windows. How diplomatic. Right of the dish, the long building on the water is the Security Council. Behind that, with the curved roof and dome, that's the General Assembly building. Under the dome, the delegate seats. On the right, there used to be a Pepsi-Cola bottling plant. If only I could remember. If only someone would give me a sign. The condition to develop that property residentially was that the sign had to stay. 2 decades of the courts before its landmark status was granted, the residential construction could begin. In the enclosure of columns to your right is a bust of FDR. The Four Freedoms Park begins. Architect Louis Kahn dies of a heart attack at Penn Station, 74. Plans for the park in his briefcase. There's your tragedy. Here's your triumph. In 2012, it was completed by architect Gina Bolero. The mentally ill, the physically ill, and criminals were confined to Welfare Island, Roosevelt Island today. You see the remains of an old smallpox hospital here at the north end of the park. Its architect, James Renwick, later does St. Patrick's Cathedral. Freedom from want, freedom from fear, freedom of expression, freedom of religion. The theme of FDR's third inaugural address, brilliantly painted by Norman Rockwell in 4 paintings. The Four Freedoms Park. To our left, an off-white tower in the distance. The top will look like a ski jump on the roof. Citigroup, a building built on 8 stories stilts. And the privilege, kind of weird, the first elevator button is 8, not 2. An entirely separate church building, St. Peter's Lutheran Church, is underneath Citigroup. Nicknamed the Jazz Church. Sir Duke Ellington's funeral home there. Dizzy Gillespie wrote a special jazz liturgy for that church. The park to your left is like Citigroup. Brand new, the East Riverside Gateway on pilings over the river. It's all about the computer today. On the right, a $500 million high-tech computer genius campus. Cornell University of New York State partnered with Technion Institute of Israel, Cornell Tech. First campus in the U.S. to have a U.S. patent office on campus. The taller gray building is the door. The shorter gray building, a boutique hotel, it's called the Graduate. Paul Simon wrote some of the Graduate soundtrack, Walking Across the Edward I. Conch-Lanesboro Bridge. Pieces from Bridgeville, PA, not far from where I grew up. It connects the borough of Queens to 2nd Avenue 59.
Ai, que Jesus, part right
As
there.
we go under, look up, you will see the cables for the Roosevelt Island tram. Very romantic ride to take at night. The tram and the bridge featured in the 2002 version with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. And I'm obligated to point that out because my last name is Parker. Roosevelt Island to your right, you see their subway stop is behind the green fence. That's the deepest F train stop on the F line. You want to keep your relationship on the down low, take the subway. The tram is a more romantic view. The Rockefeller University is on our left. It's a beige tower on V-shaped stilts over the highway. It was first just that one research wing. But you can see in the last decade, more of the campus has expanded. What we loosely call DNA, more correctly, the human genome, was mostly mapped out here. April is Autism Awareness Month. It is here they are discovering the links between gastrointestinal issues and autism. It's sort of the chicken and the egg, what comes first then? There's a link. Curing Alzheimer's, maybe curing autism. A lot of exciting research going on. Inland, if the brown stripes are wavy, that is the Monahan Cancer Care Center, named for Katie Couric's late husband, Jay Monahan. Left of that is also cancer care, but a separate hospital. Beige building, brown stripes, straight up and down. Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Care has been, and will be perhaps, one of the top 2 cancer care centers in the U.S. It's been that 1 or 2 for decades. Next are on the water, New York Presbyterian Columbia Cornell Weill Medical Center, beige complex with cathedral-like arches. Next to it is the Hospital for Special Surgery. See, I know that because it says on the side here, Hospital for Special Surgery. Unanimously elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame, former Yankee closer Mariano Rivera had his surgery here. Tiger Woods, an NBA All-Star, Kevin Durant. 14 consecutive years now. #1 sports orthopedic surgery center in the U.S. These rankings are courtesy U.S. News and World Report's annual Best Hospital list. The area's been called Hospital Row more than a century. With one black wall, one white wall, that 5-story apartment building was once a Civil War hospital. The last of Hospital Row is on the water to your left. The new Memorial Sloan Kettering David Koch Center. Now we know that cancer originates in DNA. Check out the building's architecture, it's DNA strips. Shutters that are movable, letting light in or keeping it out if someone needs or wants to. The metaphor for curing cancer is always a different look. Not that I'm memorizing the building, but every time you go by it looks different. What works for one person's DNA will not work for another's DNA. But even what works for curing cancer one day, for one person's